Have the sweetest. I used to have the sweetest great horned owl in the world. This ain't him. I joke all the time. This owl and I have a love-hate relationship. I love him. He hates me. An old timer told me after my other barn owl died of old age, or my great horned owl died of old age, and the hair had to, well, you were the spare, had to come on deck. I spent a tremendous amount of time dealing with this owl. And if you've ever seen my show before here, you know this owl because I had him with me, well, before COVID. I had him with me. My birds all got lazy during COVID because we didn't do any shows. So after COVID, when we all started working again, they were like, "You want me to do what?" And I had to completely retrain this bird again because he's like, "Oh, I'm not fisting. I'm not sitting on your hand." And I actually, the way I got him to do it in the first place is I used reverse psychology on him because you can't make a great horned owl do anything that a great horned owl doesn't want to do. And I actually know an old falconer who hunts with a great horned owl, and I begged him to go hunting with him because I just want to see it, because I don't believe it, and I just want to see it. And so this guy got hit by a car, common theme going on here. He's got the cool little tufts, as you see, that funnels the sound to his ears. You don't usually have to worry about birds of prey biting you as he takes off one finger. You don't usually have to worry about birds of prey biting you. This is what you got to worry about. With most birds of prey, people that found a bird of prey or this, that, and anything, I say, throw a blanket over it, throw a towel over it, take a broom, scoop it in a garbage can or a box, just bring it to me, I'll get it. And they said, well, it might bite me. And I said, they're probably not going to bite you. This is what you need to watch out for. These are the money makers. These are the money makers. Years ago, I was going down I-80. During the day, I saw a great horned owl walking along the road. And I love telling this story because I never saw an owl during the day. So I'm like, great horned owl. And I'm like, woo, I pull my truck over. I grab my net. I grab a pillowcase. I grab my gloves. And I go over, and the owl starts running. And I start running. And then when the owl realized that he probably couldn't outrun me, which is kind of sad, he jumped on its back and he flipped it up on his back and he put his talons up. I thought were his talons. I wasn't really paying attention. And I said, aren't you cute? And I threw a net over him, stuffed him in a pillowcase, took him home with me. And when I went in my office and I pulled him out and I'm looking at him and I said, oh my God, he doesn't have any talons. His talons were completely gone because he'd gotten hit by a car. He had a double compound fracture of a wing. He had been walking along the road, and I call it hitchhiking, and he eventually found a porcupine. And he was eating on a porcupine, and when I was looking at his feet, I said, wow, yeah, you met the one guy in the world that can save your life. How lucky is that? And I pulled the porcupines out of his feet, the quills out of his feet, and I put an IV in him. I'm like, you're the luckiest owl in the world. And even though I don't name him, I was like, hitchhiker, you are lucky. And 2 days later, he was dead. And I take things like that personal. And I was like, why'd you die? And I like to know why things died. And I took him to the vet. And his crop was completely infected because he'd eaten all that porcupine quills. And I didn't, and I still beat myself up to it to this day because I should have had an x-ray right off the bat, but I don't normally. When something comes in, if they've got a concussion, I give them drugs, I put them in a happy place, they sit in a box for a day or two, and they're like, oh, hi. And then we work. And I didn't even think that he might have a crop full of porcupine quills, and I still beat myself up to this day because it would have surgically been removed, and I didn't do it. Same deal, can hear better, can see better. So when I was trying to get in this owl's head because he was a handful, I did my homework on great horned owls. Great horned owls are the first bird of prey to nest. People say, well, eagles nest very. No, eagles work on their nest for a long time. Great horned owls in February, when everybody else is like, oh my God, it's February. Are we going to survive the winter? I wish I was dead. In February, great horned owls are going, hey, sexy. You want to maybe make some babies? And they don't make their own nests, they steal them. They steal them. Steal them from who? Anyone they want. Crows, red-tailed hawks. I actually saw a video on YouTube the other day of a pair of great horned owls fighting eagles for their nest. And the eagles put up a hell of a fight. I was impressed. I was like, wow, you ever see an eagle nest? It's like the size of my truck. And these two great horned owls were like, hey, nice nest, we're taking it. And the eagles were like, oh no, you're not, we're eagles. And the two great horned owls were like, oh yeah, we are the eagle. So the eagles, they drove the eagles out of the nest, and the two great horned owls were sitting there like, hi, who are you? Look at the nest. And I think they were surprised that they took the nest over. So in the middle of February, they lay eggs. And they're hatching out eggs in the middle of February, which is completely unheard of. You know, keeping in mind that I've got 9 months and 20 days and 4.5 hours until I retire. January and February are the worst 2 months of the year. We all know what January and February are like. And so they're laying eggs and they're sitting on eggs in February. La, 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 la. They're the only bird of prey that overhunts. Most bird of prey goes, oh, I'm hungry. I think I'm going to eat you. And they eat you. And then they're like, oh, it's a nice day. I think I'll take a nap. Great horned owls in February, when they're sitting on eggs, go, oh, they have a little break in the weather and the little squirrels and the forest animals come out to celebrate. Great horned owls go, you know what, I'm going to kill you all. I'm going to kill you all and I'm going to put you on my nest and I'm going to freeze you. Then in a week or two, when my kids hatch, and I have to feed them every couple of minutes, whoever's not on the kids are going to sit on the dead squirrel and thaw it out enough. I can feed the kids, even when there's a blizzard in February or March that produces a foot or two of snow and nothing is out and there's no food. They deep freeze their food. They're also the only natural predator of skunks. Anytime someone shows up at my office and they get out of the car and they say, Mommy, you know, I got this owl. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great one. You know, most birds of prey cannot smell. I got an exception to that rule today. Most birds of prey cannot smell. So it goes back to that little bird that you found in the yard. And your mom says, oh, now you did it. You touched it, so now the mother won't take it back. Lies. Your mother and your grandmother lied to you. They just didn't want you touching that little nasty baby bird in the yard. And worse yet, they didn't want to have to deal with it. Most of those little birds that are in your yard don't need your help anyway, because they're what we call fledglings. A robin's nest is this big. There's usually 4 of them in it. They get to a certain size and they push one another out. I get 80 calls a week saying, but it can't fly, it's wounded. No, send me a picture. I love cell phones. Send me a picture. No, it's a fledgling. It's a fledgling and it can't fly yet because it takes 3, 5, 6, 7 days to learn how to fly. While they're doing that, the parents are feeding it, they're teaching it how to hunt, how to find food. And I said, and after 3, 4, 5, 6 days, they figure it out and they get with the program. It's going to be a successful bird. You bring it to me as a fledgling, I'm going to finish it, and it's not going to get any of that education. It's better off in your yard, with one exception. What's the biggest natural predator of wildlife? Cats. I heard it. Human cats. Cats. I love cats. I got 3 of them in my office. Yeah, I love cats. They kill over 1 billion songbirds a year. Fledglings. I'm a little fledgling. I'm sitting in the yard. I can't fly. Oh, look at you, kitty. They kill over 1 billion songbirds a year. Lock your cats up. Lock your cats up. So great horned owls. Great horned owls. And people say they're not really the biggest bird of prey around here, and they're not. Snowy owls are bigger, but in 25 years of doing this, I've only gotten 3 snowy owls in. None of them have had anything wrong with them. They were just what I call Canada misfits. that come down here in the wintertime looking for an easy meal, and you feed them up, you fatten them up, especially if it's a bad winter. Wait for the weather to break, and I normally keep Snowy out for a month or so, fatten it up, send it back to Canada where it belongs. These are great horned owls. Great horned owls, very cool bird.